Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is that a little bit better? All right, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict. I'm right down here, but I'm also right over here. I think that would work better. There I am. Okay, we're trying to figure this out. I'm trying to use StreamYard today so that we can seamlessly just incorporate Dr. Joe Corcoran when he comes on later this morning. Could you hear anything before then? We all hear you. Wonderful. Okay, there's a couple things we need to do, and I'm not sure exactly how to do this on. Well, I'm going to do it this way. How about I do this? Let's put it this way and turn that on. Okay, so Nancy B, good morning. I'm using the wrong system to put your message up, but you can see I'm almost back. I've got a little bit more rumble in my voice than I normally have. I'm feeling much better. No meds this morning. No meds. I'm completely I'm drug free. So it's good. No headache. I'm feeling great. But I don't quite sound perfect yet, which is going to be a problem. Nancy, first of all, for you, I need you to keep everything running beautifully today, because I'm just not sure how I could handle that if something broke down on the internet. You were first in chat, Nancy. I'm not sure if you won before. I'm not sure if you've been first before. But today, you are first in chat. As a result, we're going to punish you by making you responsible for everything internet-related worldwide. And so just expect a few phone calls from people just around the world as they tried to, set their clocks in their microwave and everything else. Sounds good. Thank you very much, Nancy. Also, there's more. And I think I'm already going to regret this. I do. As a matter of fact, I regret it already. Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. I had to put a little warble in there manually. Welcome to Wednesday. We're halfway through the work week. Thank you so much. Oh, and singing after this is going to be brutal. But welcome. It's great to have you here. Now we have to. I'm glad we can get this out of the way before Dr. Joe arrives. Hopefully he's sleeping, resting up for the big interview. We gave him a couple practice interviews before the big one. So no, I've watched him on Megan Fox, Melanie Little, Rob on Law and Lumber. I've watched all of them, and I begged them to please save me some good questions, and they didn't. But we're gonna do this anyway. It's gonna be wonderful. I'm excited, really excited to talk to him today. We have. Do I have voice insurance? Is that a thing? Greeners, can you get voice insurance? Amy says you have a question. Let's see. Hang on a second. I have a question. I'm going to star that. If I have a question, I'll start and see if we can get them asked for him. All right. Greta. Let's see. Let me get rid of this one. Greta. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. It scrolled so fast. Greta, you had a cool. There it is. We found you. Gerda. Sorry. Recovery addict. Earphones. Ouch. Gerda, Wednesday. I have to. I have to. Lloyd's of London will assure anything, says Kurt. For the right price, you can get the insurance. We do have some birthdays to celebrate this morning. I know of at least one. I'm hoping that maybe let's see, maybe we have a couple more. Just 1 second here. Birthdays, send buffered list to you. Sharon says on mod chat. In mod chat, or I'm looking for it. I have to go backwards here. Okay. We have a special drink this morning. Oh, and it's soothing. It's good. It's good. It's not hot chocolate. It's a witch's brew, is what it is. It's a witch's brew. It's made by my wife, Mrs. R.A., and she calls it Russian punch. And I don't know if it has anything to do with Russia at all. It has lemon and orange juice and some sugar and water, and then like all the spices from the spice cabinet added. I think there's like chili powder in here. I don't know. It's like a secret recipe. She won't show me what she puts in it, but lots of stuff gets added to this, and it tastes different. It's one that I've acquired and actually like now, but it's very good on the throat. Okay, here we go. We have a few birthdays. I'm going to need everyone to sing, and I just might hum along and then say the names here. That's about the only thing I can do this morning. Must save the voice. Let's see. We've got Sid has a birthday today. Tracy, 43rd wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, Tracy. So Criminal Med also. So we just have Sid for birthdays. Is that right? I'm only seeing Sid. Is that correct? Famous last words. Why is it doing that? It's not good. Okay. Everyone's suggesting other drinks that will help, like whiskey. Remember, Evie, the name of the channel is Recovery Addict. So, I jest. So Sid, Tracy, there we go. I think these are the three we're going to sing to. Oh, I need some help here. One more time. There we go. I think we're just singing to Sid. Is that the only birthday? Can I get a buffer really quickly and point it out? You guys you're saying you're singing already, and I haven't started the music, which is good. I mean, your exuberance is wonderful. Okay, I see the ands, but I need all of them together. I can't see them all on the screen at the same time. Buffer Anthony B. Okay, but I don't have all of them. Okay, so we have Sid and Anthony B. You're just Anthony on my keyboard because I can't type the B. You're just Anthony. There we go. Okay. I'm taking 6 Volt's word for it. He wouldn't lead us astray. La 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 la. Here we go. One verse. Anthony B and Sid. I'm going to switch those around. Sid and Anthony B. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sid and Anthony B. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so when you played Hump Day, it didn't come through. Make sure we can hear the birthday music. Did I just sing like a perfect a cappella solo? Because I hear music in my ears. It's like, that's what I'm hearing. And if you guys didn't hear anything, then I could tell you that I just sang that a cappella and nailed it, which I think I did because I can't figure out the audio here. I think that's what I did. All right. Wonderful. Let's see. Let me make sure. Yes, it was perfect. I was wondering. Hopefully it was a cappella. That was perfect. Yeah, I didn't have any music playing in my ears either. I have perfect pitch is what I have. That's how I did it. Bread pencils. I actually like it without the music. All right, wonderful. That is. Tell you, I love StreamYard. They sent me an email yesterday. StreamYard sent me an email and said, "Hey, we'd like you to be a partner with us, so that refer us, and you'll get a like 25% of anybody who signs up for as long as they sign up. You get that. You could actually earn money from being on StreamYard." I'm like, I can't figure it out still. I'm not sure if I can, tell anyone that this is what they're supposed to use, because I can't make it work myself. So, Kidda Smith, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very much. It was acapella and it was very good, says Holly Mack. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate your kind words. I'm sure you all sang along. I mean, I don't think it was a solo acapella, was it? Was it? Honestly. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, StreamYard wants my business, and they want other people's business, I guess. All right. Let's see. Greener says, "Did you get the document I emailed you that you and Jules are in the court?" Yes, that came in. I think that came in October is when it came into the court, when it was first provided. Apparently, somebody who watches this channel from out of the country, from a foreign land, didn't understand that court watchers can watch the court and can talk about it, and so they sent an email to the judge about it. And I think it went to the lawyers as well the day it came in, and the lawyers were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So that's there. Yeah, I think it was. They have to file that. They can't not file it. But I think it goes in the round basket because it's a nothing burger. All right. Can I get rid of the chat floating emojis? Yes, I will do that right now. Sorry, I wish I could do this every time. Customization, live reactions gone. Okay, they're gone. Hearts, thumbs up, everything. Now you have to express yourself using words. Bite Me says, "Looking pretty spiffy with your haircut." Thank you. This came courtesy of Mrs. R.A. The price was right too. I just owe her everything I earn. I made it in the court record. Sweet. It wasn't quite as glamorous as when we made it into in the court audio. That was more fun being played in the courtroom. But so that makes 2 courts. Yes. Now I should have probably played this one. Oh, you can't hear it. So sound effect happening in my ear. I'll figure out why. What about? Can you hear this now? Hang on. Can you hear that? Because if I turn it off to my headset, I wonder if it works in your headset. A big old nope. Big old nope. It was silent. All right, we'll figure that out. All right. Let's see. Is that Angela? Angela Djordjevic? I don't know how to say your last name. Hi from Sweden. Thanks for amazing streams. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us from Sweden. Kidda, if I didn't call you out, then thank you personally, please. Now is the time. Kidda, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate that. Don, member for 6 months, says, "Love being a 6-month addict." That is wonderful. Thank you, Don. Love seeing that courthouse turn yellow by your name. All right. Let me tell you where we're at. Let me tell you where we're at. First of all, before Dr. Joe shows up, I've been super impressed with Dr. Joe, and my wife and I were talking about him last night as we were watching on Law and Lumber, and she is super impressed with him, and she doesn't get super impressed with many people, I should know, but she's super impressed with Dr. Joe and how he's found his mission or calling in life. And it's just awesome to watch this happen. Plus, he's incredibly well read. We're going to get into this a little bit, but if you have a question for Dr. Joe that hasn't been answered, because we've realized he's been on 3 amazing shows already and done an incredible job. But if there's something that you would like asked, if you can ask it and maybe put like question marks or something at the front so it'll stand out for me. I can't ask all of them. I do apologize. But if you can put those in chat, it'll be wonderful. I'll try to star them and keep them on the list so we can ask them to him when he comes on. All right. Criminal Med, welcome to the gallery. Wonderful to have you here. Okay, let's see what we have. How old is Dr. Joe? Is that impolite to ask? I'll give him a pass if he wants to skip that one, but I'll try to ask it. Let's see. I'm going to need to move my computer so I can see what's happening. Let me do a quick little shuffle here. Let's turn that off, this off. The idea is we're going to have this all ready when he starts. Mute, stop cam, studio monitors, entering the building. Okay. And this will be mirrored instead of separate. I'll put that up there. There we go. There we go. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Let's see. Villaray, hang on 1 second. That is a question. I had some written along the same line, but you worded it so nicely. And I will say this about StreamYard. It is not as easy to find quotes over here or comments as it is elsewhere. Just 1 minute here. I think what I need to do is probably mod some of my mods on StreamYard so that they can star things for me. And so I'm not doing it by myself. I think that's what Rob does. I've been watching very closely, and I saw both of his hands clearly in the screen when something happened on StreamYard, an interaction happened on StreamYard that I know takes a click. And so I think I've learned his secret. I think he has help. Okay. And now I can't find anything. New comments at the bottom. There we go. How does one find a concierge physician? Somebody was watching Rob's show last night. Let's see. Question, how has this trail changed his family life? There's a good one. Grace, appreciate that. Shark says, what is his favorite dinosaur? This is a very important question. Shark, I'm going to hold on that one for now. Let's see, there are a couple that I know I can't ask him that I've seen in here, and they're great questions, but they might be better reserved for a judge or law enforcement. Let's see. Good questions. We've got a couple up here. We're gonna try to put up. Villaray, found the one I was looking for. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna star that one as well. All right. We're gonna try to keep the questions themed on either the Maya trial or the afterwards. What we can do from that. It would be easier to do that. Okay, I know Rob saved a bunch of questions for me. I was going to download them, and I did not have time to do that. And I don't think Rob had time because he was exhausted. I mean, he was texting me as he was driving home from his meeting that he told you guys about. And we're talking as it's like, it was like 1 minute past the show start time, and we're still chatting as he's trying to get ready. He was working his tail end off. I don't think he had time to do that. Okay, let me see. We've got another. I think James, I think I know how he's going to answer your question because I think we saw the reaction on Rob's channel, but we'll ask that one anyway. M. Young, I like that one as well. We're going to put a star by that. Okay, I think I've got a few here. We're gonna start with. My phone's ringing. I don't know who it is, but I'm not going to answer that right now. All right. Here's what we want to talk about. What we want to talk about today. Hang on, I've got a message I have to respond to. That was a simple one. All right. Let's see. Matthias says, greetings from Europe. Dr. Joe has fans worldwide. Please tell him I said hello. How did he react to Hunter's argument to exclude him last minute? I've got a similar question. Look at that one as well. And that one. Brienne, I might need the StreamYard help, Brienne. Okay. All right, we've got a million questions pouring in. Holy cow. We've already got more questions than we could cover in the time that we have. That means that I can't ask most of these questions simply because some of these questions are related to a very specific personal experience, which the doctor does not have personal knowledge of, and he can't give you like medical advice just based over a question in on a YouTube feed. So there's some that will have to be excluded, but we'll talk a little bit about what I feel is an underlying question that I've seen from a lot of people as well. Lizzie, I like this one as well. Thank you very much. Debbie says it was great when Dr. Joe stood up when testifying. Yeah, I like that as well. First of all, I believe his response was genuine. When he told that to Rob, I think he actually talked about it a couple times. And when he told that to Rob, he basically said he didn't know what he was supposed to do when sitting there when somebody approaches him. And he says it wouldn't shake somebody's hand sitting down. And so when he found out he could stand up, he did. And it did happen to also be a power move with Hunter, but it's also a sign of respect a little bit. Yeah, Jules did nothing wrong. Somebody who doesn't understand the system thought, how can they do that? If I can't see it on the screen, they shouldn't be able to talk about it. And that's not how it works in the US. Bug Dugger, I missed your super chat. I think it automatically gets starred. I see your super chat. You said make Kurt a mod. I wouldn't want to punish him like that. No. My Kurt is safe from that. Brienne, I think I'm going to reach out to you regarding StreamYard. What I need to do is get. Can I do comments from here? Hang on 1 second. Oh, I can do it from the other computer. This is even better, guys. Oh, we'll get this worked out. This is going to be better. I don't have to look off to my side, which is, I find extremely disrespectful in the middle of an interview. So let me shut that one down. Talking about the Anderson sisters, Molly, yesterday. Let me hide this one. Molly says, I loved your interviews with Mrs. Anderson and her sisters. So great. That was incredible. The song that I shared from Maya during that, I feel awful. I realized I made a mistake in editing that song. The problem I found was when I heard that song and I heard the audio and tried to figure out how I wanted to play all this on the feed, and if we'd have like separate feeds and lots of interruptions, I thought these have to go together. This Beata's voice and Maya's song have to be one. And the problem was Maya's song, it has a brief intro and then all the lyrics and then a brief ending, and that was it. And I needed a time with music for behind Beata's voice, and so I did some fancy editing to create in the middle of the song a little interlude, a musical interlude part that wasn't there. In the process of doing that, I accidentally cut out a brief verse. So at some point we are going to play. I might even be able to play it now. Might even be able to play just the audio itself of. Let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, make it great. Let me see if I can play just the music. And give me just a second here to get it loaded up right. And you guys will hear the little addition here, but we're gonna play just the song itself. This song, just for this is going to be a background. We're not going to show the pictures and images again right now. It's just going to be the audio, and you're going to hear the part I left out that I feel terrible about. But let's give it a try here. As you can tell, that little part where it's quiet and loud at the same time. I apologize to Maya for inadvertently cutting that out. I thought I was adding to the song, but in the end, I took out a very important part. So I'm sorry about that. I do appreciate the family granting me permission to share that with you on the channel. So I wanted to do that. Not that Mickey says, "Hi, Recovery Addict. Are you planning to speak to the jurors or other members that were part of this trial in the future? Amazing coverage. Thank you." I would like to. The jurors make that decision, though. That's not something I can do. I know that the jurors will have ability to contact me if they want to. That's already in place. But when the time's right, I'd like to do that. I don't know when that time would be right, considering what was happening. Yeah, that song is heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time, sung by her, played by a musical therapist who accompanied for her. But it was good. Let's see. Lauren says, "Did you see the other emails from the defense I posted on Twitter?" I did. I did see those. I'd heard about them previously before they came out. Somebody had informed me about what was happening in the background, and at the time I was supposed to be quiet about it, but now they're out on Twitter. We can talk about them, I guess. Yeah. The bus stop one was 6 people from a bus stop. That was crazy. Let's see. See, the emails are all over Twitter right now, the screenshots and everything. No, it's this bus stop, not the bus stop or the bus stop. It's this bus stop. That's an important distinction. Yeah, she wrote it when she was 10. I don't know when it was recorded. I don't have the recording date. She does sound a little bit older than 10 at the time. The emails have to do with emails that were sent from the defense team, from various people of the defense team. I think the way they came to light initially was through a Reddit group where that seemed to be supporting the hospital side, and there were some conversations in there, or conversations with the defense team and responses back. I believe that's where it came from. See, Melissa says, "RA, I got to watch long enough from the interview yesterday to hear what Anderson was saying about Mr. Hunter from the beginning of everything." Yeah, the strong feelings that Jennifer Anderson has directed at Mr. Hunter. Well, I felt it as well when she says that that basically Greg and Mr. Hunter grew up near each other, different age groups, but that Greg, after finding out about this case, calls Mr. Hunter and is talking to him about it. Mr. Hunter played dumb through the whole thing, even though his name is all over the documents that have to do with this case. That was it was interesting. Let's see. Do I have permission to post the link to the emails on your Twitter? Once they're in public like that, you can do with it as you wish. They're everywhere. I'm not the person to give you permission on that. They were leaked by the person who received them, so they're now sort of in the public realm. There's no closing that Pandora's box. Amy Manti in the gallery for, what is this, 8 months? 8 months, Amy. Congratulations, 8 months. That is awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. I mean, permission to post in chat. We don't allow links in chat unless it's a specific one, so you wouldn't be able to post a link that way. Probably the Facebook page or honestly, Discord's probably the better place. The better place is Discord to let those. I think they already have them. I don't know if Mr. Shapiro's on vacation or not. That would be interesting. If the emails are not on Discord, they're probably going to be there shortly. Okay, let me go back to being small. I feel like I'm staring at myself from the TV screen. I'm making myself nervous. He's on a staycation. I've been on many staycations. Love those. Would you please consider covering Karen Reed trial whenever it happens? Nikita, that one's probably going to be covered by Brandy Churchwell. She's already done a lot of work, groundwork on that one with podcasts and other things, looking into that. And it's a crazy, crazy case. I think I would highly recommend watching it on Brandy Churchwell's channel. She does a great job with that. see. What's the Facebook page? You can find us on Facebook, the Recovery Addicts page. If you join, don't just click the join button and think you're done. There's a couple questions you have to answer. And if you don't know the answer to the question, just put an explanation like, I don't understand. I watch on YouTube something. Just let us know. The questions are designed to figure out if you're a robot or not, or a troll. So in the questions, put your answer in there as best you can, or an explanation of why you don't know the answer, and that would be good. Ariel says, I put the screenshots on Discord. Thank you very much. Those are for the emails. I think they're very interesting. Robin, I'm not going to show them here. I've looked at them, but I'm not planning on showing them. Tower Hill Girl, love being here with my second family. Thank you. Also 8 months as well. Thank you, Tower Hill Girl. Wouldn't be the same without you. Important, has Dr. C ruled out adhesive? You guys do this on purpose. Arachnoiditis with his spinal injury. I don't know. I think if you listen to his interviews, you found out that the spinal injury was a result of a medical error. Is how it came about. Okay, we are. Joyce, if you have questions, just in Chambers chat, you might want to ask a question, and someone over there on Discord will be able to guide you to the right destination. I think the bus stop people quote came from attorney David Hughes, but I think there's another one from Mr. Shapiro in there as well. There are emails back to individuals who emailed something to the defense counsel, is what they are. Wallflower just jumped on. Hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling much better. I don't sound as good. That's going to be the only kicker. Let me get my notes ready. Mr. Upper-Torso says, defense can't admit they lost on merit, so the next best thing is saying they lost it because of unfair PR. I don't think the public is buying it. Virginia, I've seen your comments over several weeks, and I've never been slapped by iguana tail, but it sounds terrible, and now I'm petrified of iguanas. We have the little baby lizards here. They don't do that. They'll bite you and hang on your finger, but you can actually let them bite your earlobe, and they'll just hang on to your earlobe like earrings. I've seen people do that, and then they let go and run away, but they don't break skin or anything. All right, let me tell you where we are. We are approaching the time when we're going to have a very special guest on. I would ask all of you that you please be respectful in chat. Know that he can see the chat. If he sees a question that he might be able to call out if he wants to answer something or he finds interesting. But please be respectful of his time. He's been incredibly gracious to join us. He'll join us here in just a couple minutes, and we'll go from there. And also be on your best behavior. We appreciate all the guests that come on our show. We're going to start at 9:15. 9:15. We're going to start. I'm going to get one more swig of throat soothing goodness. It's only warm now. It's not hot, but it works. I have all my beverages handy. I have a cold Mountain Dew, a bottle of water, and my I don't know what to call it, the Russian punch for my wife. try to drink discreetly during the interview. Let's see. Smiling Thrifter Pam says, "Good morning, fellow addicts. Rob had a great interview last night, and I'm looking forward to seeing you do your thing this morning. Very interesting. I've loved the different perspectives that we get in these interviews. So I'm hoping that we can provide something a little bit different as well to just add to what's been said already." Kim, does it make you nervous that he watched us during the trial? Meaning he might be an RA fan. Here's I don't know if he's an RA fan. I think he found a community that was pleasant to watch with. I think that's what it is. And that's what brought him back. And it means a lot. I mean, honestly, it's humbling. It's humbling to think that we knew we had some family members that were watching. We knew that we have people all over the world that are watching, and then to see that here that Dr. Joe is watching as well, it's incredibly humbling, and it really makes me think very hard about how I cover a trial, not knowing until after the fact just who was watching. We know we had defense watching, we know we had a couple other things, but it really makes me be cautious and careful about how I cover trials. My very expensive DoorDash Mountain Dew. Yes, that is the second of the two Mountain Dews I DoorDashed to me yesterday. It was an emergency. I needed them. I don't have any Southern Febreze on hand, but I have the Raid mug. Which you don't need to bring that up with Dr. Joe when he's here. His family watches RA and lumber and Law and Lumber. Good choices, both of them. Yeah. Ashley, the funny thing, growing up, I had a saying that I heard. I don't know, it was probably in church one week. I don't know why. It's not a church saying, but it seems to think, like when I think back of where I first heard the saying, I think it came from church. And the saying was, make your words soft and sweet. So when the time comes for you to eat them, they will taste good and be easy to chew. And that has stuck with me for a long time. But I try to do that. I failed many times, but I continuously try to improve. All right, we are getting to Maisel says, every channel I watch is shout out referring to Scott Recovered. It's really cool. Really, Maisel, this is a credit to you guys. That people want to come here and watch trials with us, with you, is what is special. That's what makes it different. All right, I think we have Dr. Joe making attempts to connect here. We're just going to make sure the camera works. We'll watch that and make sure it comes on. Let me see if we got the text from you. Just 1 second here. I see him trying to connect and we're getting an issue. All right. Okay, I've been putting it off, but I have to leave and go to work. See you later, Virginia. You're going to be on the rewatch crew. That's all right, Virginia. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Chat, Ari is super busy. Please ask him out directly for the new Discord link. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll get that fixed as soon as we can. All right. He's He's doing a reboot right now of his device. He'll be on in just a second. Mr. Opatorsa says, I think Dr. Corcoran said he was having dinner with Mr. Anderson this evening. I think he said Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, but first time meeting since the verdict. Yeah, I think it's Thursday. They've been too busy, and he just came in and did that and did his thing, and now he's out. But yeah, that's gonna be cool to have that meet up again. Yeah, so every streamer that I've watched has made a point of saying to not go real life on those involved. The defense did just the opposite and was asking for Reddit to find dirt on the jurors. Wow. Interesting. Dr. C has a whole new family. We're gonna talk to him a little bit about that when he joins us, specifically about what is next for him. That's going to be one of the main questions and the lines of questioning we're going to follow. Nurse, doxing is something that's first of all highly inappropriate in basically every situation. It's when you publicly release the contact information or contact information for someone who's private, who has who has an expectation of privacy, and they're publicly outed. It would be like giving out someone's home address, who's like a streamer. For me, if someone doxed me, it would be somebody giving out my home address, which would be highly inappropriate. That's why we use a PO box to just so people can reach, but not come to the home address. Just for your record, just for police would be called if somebody came, because I don't know anyone. If they came to my house, I'd call the police immediately. I'd be like, nope. That would not be cool. So, okay, we've got. I see a connection has been made. Let me see if we can bring in Dr. Joe. Hold on, just one second. Dr. Joe, I see you. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. We've got a thumbs up. All right. Thank you very much for being here. Dr. Joe, welcome. Good morning, first of all. Let me see if I can hear you. Give me an audio.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Coming through loud and clear. Wonderful.
Outstanding.
I'm doing great. And it's wonderful to actually see
great. You. What about the flu symptoms?
Well, doctor, I didn't want to have the checkup right here, but what do you need to know?
Let's get it out of the way.
I don't feel like I've got a fever. A little clammy, just the sore throat.
Let me just point out that Mountain Dew is not only Gatorade, it's like the anti-Gatorade. That will actually cause you to lose fluids because of the caffeine in it. So Mountain Dew may be good for the jolt, but that's not what you need for replenishing. So,
well, it's sealed. It's still sealed. You can't see it. Okay, it's green, so you can see the cork.
No judging, Scott. No judging.
Okay, I will. I'll stick to water and my little punch. But
yeah, and actually, if you can get some Pedialyte, some Gatorade, any of the sports drinks, because what you really need are the salts that are lost as you glow.
Yes, so I do that very well.
Yeah, fair enough.
It helps that it's 78 degrees in here for some reason. I don't know. The rest of the house is like 68, and in my room here it's 78. So the heater's going full blast because they want to be warmer.
Goodness. Oh my goodness! Hey, listen, can I just start by saying congratulations on 50,000? I actually was tuned in that day because I was on Verdict Watch like everybody else, but that's a heck of an accomplishment. Congratulations. You have built a remarkably loyal audience, and that's all on you. So congratulations.
Well, my audience is incredible. I'll give them that. If I can take a minute to brag about one of them. Debbie from the Creative Bee made a little plaque. It's a handcrafted YouTube plaque that says congratulations for surpassing 5,000 subscribers. And she sent that to me when I hit 5,000.
That is awesome.
I said, this is going to be like, I might get a plaque in the future, but this is my favorite. Yesterday I went to the post office. And Debbie sent me another one. This
Oh
one's
my God.
that says, it says congratulations for surpassing 50,000 subscribers. This one's got the glitter with the personal note and everything. It was amazing.
So it's Debbie's plaque that's on your green screen over your right shoulder.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
That's the plaque.
Awesome.
So I'll now have to hang the other one up. Well,
there you go.
Somewhere over here.
I love it.
But yeah, this community, I think you've all probably found this already. The community that watches true crime for the most part is incredible. And not like anything else you find on the internet.
You know, it's amazing because I had no idea that there was LawTube out there. And, you know, it was interesting because when I testified the first time in the plaintiff's case in chief, Greg Anderson was actually the one who said, you really have quite a fan base building out there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he sent me a link to Recovery Addict. And so, you know, and then I tried to stay agnostic through my part of the trial. I purposely didn't watch the news, didn't read the news, didn't tune into anything like this until I was done. You know, I did watch the live stream because I was trying to continue to support the team. And if something was presented that didn't make sense, I would text Samantha Lawrence and say, hey, ask the guys about this, right? So I watched the live stream, but without commentary. I'll tell you, since I finished my last of the 4 appearances, I have gone back and watched, you know, your critique, Rob's critique on Law and Lumber and others. And I'm just amazed that this community even exists. And I'm so touched by the support for the Kowalski family that is global. And then, you know, and obviously the support that you know, these kind strangers who will become friends have shown me already. It's remarkable. I had no idea this existed, but I feel so unbelievably welcomed by this group. So thank you to you, and thank you to your audience.
Thank you for the kind words. They're incredible, and I couldn't be here without them, obviously.
Yeah.
But and you're building that same audience. Hopefully, it treats you just the way they've treated me. I think you're going to be to 50,000 really quick because you've got 2 videos. I think total of about 7 minutes of footage on your channel, and you just passed 5,000 last night with
actually I'm up over 6,200 now.
Whoa.
It is
crazy.
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, it's Christmas.
that
Every
is
day
really
is
neat.
Christmas.
We'll talk a little bit more about the YouTube channel.
Sure.
Where you want to go with that, because that's one of my big interests, to see what becomes of this. But let's back up if we can.
Sir.
And I apologize for cutting you off.
No
we
problem at all.
We have a bunch of questions that people want to ask, and I've got a few of my own. And if there's a different direction you want to go, or you want to pass on any of the questions, that is perfectly legitimate.
Yeah.
Just tell me to move on.
Yeah.
We watched you on Megan Fox. We watched you on Melanie Little. We watched you on Rob, Law and Lumber. 3 great people that did wonderful interviews, and all the information you shared was incredible. I don't want to rehash everything they've done.
Sure.
So I want to give you more of a venue here to talk about what your purpose is now going forward. So that's where we're going to go, but let's do just a tiny bit of backup from the trial.
Yep. You bet.
Okay. So we in trial there are 2 witnesses, right? One from each side. It seems like every time there's a point, there's a counterpoint made by somebody else. So you had you were matched up in this, like a wrestling matchup with Mr. Anderson. Would that be your counterpart?
Yes, I believe that's who they put up.
What?
Yeah.
That was a bit uneven, like almost not a fair fight.
You know, and I don't put that on Mr. Anderson, witness Anderson. You know, when I agreed to serve as an expert witness, Greg and his entire team opened up the vault to me. I could ask for anything. I was granted everything, access to everything. You know, Mr. Witness Anderson said that he was given a 3-page summary basically talking points. And that's so wickedly unfair. I mean, listen, what I learned in this is that a civil trial with a lot on the line is not touch football. It was full contact and it was brutal. The cross examinations that I had with Mr. Hunter were not polite. I tried to keep them up, but it was tough. And for them to put witness Anderson into a position of being that poorly prepared, that's not on him. That's on the team. If I had been restricted in my access to information, I would have floundered as well.
Yeah. You did excel, and we loved, especially I mentioned to you, I loved how you did on that cross examination. Yes, Mr. Hunter was quite aggressive with you, quite forceful. But I was telling Jennifer Anderson and her sisters yesterday, they were on the show.
You did a great job with the Morgan sisters.
They're incredible. They made it
amazing,
so easy.
Right? Yeah.
I was telling them that Mr. Hunter, it would have been in a better position if he just said no questions for this witness and sat down, because the tricks that attorneys use, I'm not sure if you'd studied up on this or practiced, but the tricks they used were not effective on you. Yeah. And it seemed like every time he'd ask a question, you would give a full and fair and unbiased. That's what was amazing. It was just it was an honest response that contained more truth that was harmful to the hospital. Yeah. And it was amazing to watch, and we were cheering as it was going.
It's interesting, Scott, because there were so many extraordinary elements to this, to the 97 days that Maya was there. The documentation, you didn't have to embellish any of it. And one of the things that Greg and Nick, who are just great people as well as incredibly talented attorneys, one of the things that they did early on was they gave me the latitude to and the support to maintain my integrity. I didn't want to be a talking head, and that's what the other side positioned Mr. Anderson to be, was really say what we want you to say. And I can't do that. I really value authenticity to the point where it irritates the hell out of my wife, but I hate Halloween because I hate dressing up like something I'm not. I mean, I know that's so childish, but I really value my authenticity and my integrity, and they honored that. And it was. And the interesting thing, I do not have a good poker face. If you want to make a lot of money, play me in poker, because you can wipe me out in minutes, right? And as I've gone back and looked at my testimony, I gave so many tells with my face what I was thinking. And there were times where I just kind of rolled my eyes or I started smiling, because I'm like, why are you asking me this? We've been through this in the deposition. The answer is not what you want. I don't have a different answer. It was a very interesting approach. And one that, no, I did not study up the tricks, but I did get good advice going in to, take a pause, take a beat, listen to the question being asked, answer the question that's being asked. And that's all. And then, stick with your truth. So testifying was the easy part. It was a bit of a joust with Mr. Hunter. But I enjoy a good sport.
It was incredible. It was wonderful to watch.
In
watching your testimony, as well as your appearances on the shows we mentioned. My read from you is that you're incredibly well read. You are extremely articulate. You're acutely perceptive. You've got you're on top of, you've got people skills as far as communication goes that really draws people in and feels like, I mean, even with you, the way you use their name, where you know things about me. You've obviously done your research for this interview. These are all skills that the corporate world would clamor for. But here you are in this trial, testifying pro bono for free. it's amazing, and the authenticity of that, I think, spoke to the jury, and they heard that. And we've heard, if you've been following true crime at all, every time there's an expert witness, the question that is always asked is, how much are you getting paid? How much per hour? And it's sort of this, it's used to divide the jurors from the witness, saying he's not one of us, he's different.
Right.
And when they asked that question of you, and you said nothing, you're, I think it was Mr. Anderson asked you that, right? I don't remember.
No, actually, it was Mr. Hunter, and Mr. Hunter asked me that question in a deposition, and so I was really surprised that he went there, because it was not a winner of an answer from me for his side. And really two things. Number one, again, Greg and Nick allowed me to. I felt that by not being paid, I could be honest. I could be upfront. I could maintain my integrity and not be a talking head. The second piece that I think really contributed to that, and having watched the criticism or critiquing, sorry, in the after the trial wrapped, I know I got a lot of grief for talking about who I was, where I grew up, who was my best friend in the cafeteria line in 6th grade. But Greg did that purposefully. Greg is a master strategist, but also excels at tactics. And that's a rare combination. And, he wanted the jury to know, I'm one of you. I lived in this community for 25 years. I had an office that was 2 miles from the courthouse. I may have done surgery on some of the patients, some of the jurors, sorry, or their family, right? So he wanted them to know, I'm not flying in from Stanford. I'm not flying in from Chicago. I'm you. I'm one of us. And so I think that was a very smart move on Greg's part. He and I both caught some grief about it, but I think it was, I think it established a connection with the jury early on.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple times talking about Greg and Nick. What was it like working with them? Were you ever in the war room with them at the end of the day?
Oh, absolutely. Decisions? Yeah.
I imagine a huge whiteboard, Post-it notes everywhere, stacks of papers. What was that like?
Well, as Kelly described yesterday, their war room, local war room, because they're based in Jacksonville, which is a 6-hour drive. Their local war room literally has a bank of probably 40 or 50 binders, multiple computers. It looks like the Situation Room, in my mind. Greg and Nick are very different people with very different styles. Greg is that, no offense, sir, if you're watching, he's kind of that nutty professor. He is thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of you. And so, even the way that he was questioning me, and in the courtroom, was a little here and a little there. And honestly, I never knew exactly where he was going. And he can turn on a dime. Nick is much more methodical, much more cut to the chase, and quite candidly, is easier to work with on the stand. Behind the scenes, what I really appreciate the most about the guys is that they valued what I had to say. They weren't dismissive at all, right? You're not a lawyer. You can hear that, right? I didn't hear that from them. I tried to bring a very specific perspective to the way that they were thinking about the trial. And, I talked about this in one of the other conversations, but, probably the most glaring example was they were focused on the risk management committee, which was medical staff leaders, administrative leaders, et cetera. They really needed to be focused on the risk management department, because that's where the decisions were being made, the calls to DCF were being made, the calls to Hillward Henderson, the law firm that represented. That's where those pieces were falling into place. So, they appreciated it, and they didn't try to constrain me, and they never dismissed me. They were great to work with. Very, very bright people.
So while this was going down, we have to ask, we've got a couple questions. How did your family, Grace says, how has this trial changed the family life? And then we have a similar question. What does Dr. Joe's family think of this moment of fame? How did your family handle this? What was it like for them?
Well, they were incredibly patient, because these were very long hours. And, I had a day job at the time too. I was helping to turn around a healthcare company that had gotten knocked over during COVID. And so between the two, I was not terribly present, at least during the trial. My family was, we all watched Take Care of Maya together when it came out on Netflix back in June. And they understood why I was willing to join the fight. And, you'd have to be the Tin Man and not have a heart to not be empathetic to the Kowalskis' challenge. I mean, I lost my dad when I was in medical school, and I always reference it that I lost him too early, right? He never met my wife. He never met my kids. He never saw what I became. He never saw me graduate from medical school. I wasn't a 9-year-old boy like Kyle was. I wasn't an 11-year-old girl like Maya was. That is a true tragedy. And I will tell you, I think I actually had a conversation with Jack Kowalski this morning. It was the first time I've spoken with him since the trial wrapped up. And, and we were talking about how hard it is to be a single parent, and just this, all that he did to keep the family together. Not only just dealing as a single parent, but dealing with all of this legal stuff that's going on. But, he is really buoyed by the love that is just percolating from the community. But my family was tremendously supportive. My wife, I can't tell you how many times she has said, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you." And that means the world to me. She picked up a lot of the slack. When we first got together, one of the phrases that we adopted early is, there are going to be days when you pull the wagon, and there are days when I'll pull the wagon. She pulled the wagon a lot since I got involved. My kids are excited, but I think my daughter, who's a 20-year-old junior in college, I think she's a little upset that I'm becoming the influencer in the family.
That's her role, right?
Yeah.
You'll have to shout out her Instagram page or something.
Yeah, right.
On your first live.
Yeah, no, I actually we're going to be together next week. We're celebrating Thanksgiving out west, as has been our tradition the last 12 years. We celebrate with friends. I delivered their babies. When they were living here in Florida, they moved out to Utah, and we now celebrate Thanksgiving with them every year for the last 12, 13 years. And we're going to be together. And honestly, Scott, I'm expecting that they're going to have lots to say and teach me about this brave new world that you've mastered, but I'm the newbie.
Oh, I was going to say, we're in the same spot. I've done this for a year. That's how long I've been on YouTube, and wow, it's exploded. It's been crazy, and you're seeing that as well. I think you're going to surpass me very quickly.
From your lips to God's ears.
We've got when will we get to meet on live his Triple G, Miss Patty Corcoran?
Well, I can tell you, it will. I guarantee you, it will be after she's had her hair done and her nails done. She's actually introverted, very introverted. She's, I love that Megan called her gregarious, but Patty loves being around gregarious people, but she's always back here. But no, she's amazing, and hopefully the community will get to meet her soon.
That's wonderful.
Of course, you can always stop in at the restaurant if you're in
Yes,
in
yes.
town. Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. I put a little sign for the restaurant in the thumbnail.
You did not.
I did. I figure if you use the screenshot from the Recovery Addict show, I figured I could at least put the sign. It's if you look on the thumbnail for this video, it's like stuck in next to Johns Hopkins Hospital sign. It's there on the grass.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
You know, the better she does, the closer I get to my career ambition of being a kept man. So thank you.
It's wonderful. I'm looking at the reviews of the restaurant. It's, thousands of 5-star reviews. And then one person is like, probably went to McDonald's and got the wrong company. And they're like, they left my McBurger was cold.
Yeah.
You're on the wrong page, sir.
Yeah. No, Patty. And so the restaurant was actually started by my wife, her twin sister, and our nephew, who is the oldest child of the twin. And Dimitri is actually a law school graduate. He started it while he was a second-year law student, and he was commuting from University of Miami to Bradenton, which is between Tampa and Sarasota. And he was commuting to build this, and he's phenomenally talented and super committed. And Terry, his mom, my wife's twin, is just so hardworking. And it's interesting because she just loves pouring cups of coffee and getting to know people. And that's what I think. If you read the reviews, people feel like they're at home, and that's exactly what they wanted, because that's how their dad ran his restaurants. And if you went to one of George's restaurants, you were automatically a friend. He literally would come out of the kitchen with his apron on and go, "Oh, Scott, my friend, how are you? Good, thank you." He was an amazing guy, and the restaurant is really a big tribute to him.
That's wonderful. That is awesome. I love the what you have on the back of the shirt. It's what she has there. The stay strong or be strong, and the family first. And
yep.
It's just a neat slogan. Excited to see that girl. Can't wait to go down and try it out myself.
And I hate to say it, but that's also on his headstone at the cemetery. Those 3 quotes, those were the words that he lived by.
Oh, that's an amazing legacy. Let's see that continuing on.
Stay strong, work hard, stay strong, and family first.
Yeah. Let me transition on. You say work hard. Back in the trial, we saw the defense team work very hard to keep you out of the trial. even before any of us knew who you were or what you were going to talk about. The defense team. I think E. James says, "How did it feel once the IJ evidence was able to come in?" They tried to keep you out because of what you knew.
Yeah.
And what was that for you? What was that moment? First of all, were you on like pins and needles as you're listening to the judge decide if any of your work is going to be heard at all?
Yes, I was. I was in the courtroom when the decision was made to bring it in. And I will tell you that I was sitting next to your friend Jules, who I just met. I met her the first time I was in the courtroom, just as an observer, because I was testifying 2 days later, and I just wanted to feel the environment, see what it was like. And there were 2 very nice women sitting there. It was Jules and Cake Lady Alicia, but I was sitting between the 2 of them, and the debate was going on about whether this would be allowed in, and we literally were just pins and needles. But it was surprising that the defense kicked open that door. They knew that the IJ was out there. They knew that the report was published in the Tampa Bay Times in the Heartbroken series.
You mean all that surprise was fake? What?
Yeah,
they buried that Dracula years ago.
Yeah. But they had successfully quashed that, because they had convinced the judges that this was an isolated problem and it had nothing to do with Maya. But as Judge Carroll pointed out, this was cultural, and probably goes back to when Dr. Ellen became the head of the hospital, and his culture allowed retaliation and retribution. His culture endorsed that siloing of responsibility, so that the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. And that was when I first got involved. I pointed out, guys, this was all happening at the same time as the Heart Institute issues, and the Heart Institute issues was years in the making. And yes, as I pointed out in my testimony, the Joint Commission went there because the self-reporting about the Heart Institute problems. But as I said, when Jack was a firefighter, he would show up at your house and put out the kitchen fire, but he would look in the attic to make sure that it didn't go up. He would look at the adjacent rooms to make sure that there wasn't a fire in the walls. He would look in the garage to make sure that the electric panel didn't cause the fire, right? So they got there for this problem. They found all these issues. So when they led a poorly prepared witness, Anderson, to talk about, following their lead, to talk about the Joint Commission surveys, and then to double down on it and ask about, well, are there also federal surveys? I was like,
boom.
It's Christmas. It was Christmas.
Did Greg and Nick, did they sense that same moment? Was like just an eye opener?
Yeah. Listen, we tried to talk about the issues in very generic terms, but this allowed us to connect dots for the jury. And I've been told, actually, I think Jen said it, that when they've talked with one of the jurors, he said that the last testimony that I provided, they knew something didn't make sense, and that connected dots to help them make sense of it. It was I mean, honestly, you can't write that stuff.
It was amazing, and Rob spelled that out with the breadcrumbs that led to that
Exactly.
Sort of gave the defense the opportunity to walk down that path, and they chose to do it, and to their detriment. We got a question here from Picky. Says, recovery addict, has he been asked what does he think Maya's parents could have done differently?
Yeah.
Did they do everything right? Is there what?
Well, I can't second guess because I wasn't there, and I can tell you that in that hospital, maybe they did do everything that was available to them. And I'm sorry, I know you don't want to cover territory that we already covered in other conversations, but last evening I was saying that everybody has a boss, and if you're not making headway with your doctor, if you're not making headway with the chief nurse on the floor, ask to speak to a manager. Go full on Karen and keep working your way up. I used to be more of a technology geek than I am today, and I actually had the first generation Mavica digital camera from Sony, and shortly after, it was digital camera was brand new. It was 0.8 pixels, right?
And it was everything you'd ever need. It was incredible.
It was amazing, right? So, but the thing broke early on, but it was outside of the 90 days, and it was not cheap. So I tried to return it, try to get it repaired, getting nowhere. I finally called, I can't remember who the CEO of Sony was, Sony America was at that time, but I actually called his office in North Jersey, and I didn't get to speak to him. But within about 30 minutes, I got a call from a senior VP of something or other. And guess what? I had a new camera in 2 days, right? So you really do have to talk to a manager, and everybody has a boss. And even Dr. Ellen had a boss back then, and that was all the members of the board. And I can't tell you how many times, Scott, when I was a facility CMO, how many times patients, family members showed up in our administrative suite and asked to speak to the CEO or me. And we listened. And, many times I couldn't do anything, but I had people who could. And so it is effective, but don't think that you've heard the final answer until you escalate it up the chain.
Got another question from Lizzie here. Says, question, how do you maintain your standards of care in an environment where there's a systemic failings and poor patient care, etc.?
Yeah, that's tough, because that takes an incredible commitment. And, it's not an issue of for-profit or not for-profit. You're going to find good hospitals and bad hospitals in all environments. First and foremost, I would say get out of that hospital. Get to some place where you feel that the care is going to be appropriate. And, there are some guides that will tell you, which hospitals, are really committed and which aren't. Leapfrog is a not-for-profit organization that rates hospitals for patient safety. And a Leapfrog hospital that's graded A, yeah, I'll go there a lot more quickly than a Leapfrog C or D or F. There are CMS star ratings. They're out there, but they're not very effective because they're at least 2 years old. The data that they use is at least 2 years old. So you're looking at how the hospital performed way before you became a patient there. But you look at some of the, like, there's a local hospital in Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Their nurses have earned magnet status, which is top of the heap. And when you see a hospital that goes after recognition like that, there's a good correlation, not 100%, but there's a good correlation that, hey, this is a place where patients matter. So I would say that, just like anything else, do your research. People do more research about what car dealership they're going to buy from than which hospital they're going to go to. And not all doctors are created equal. Even within, it's interesting because one of the things where I have been most gratified as a physician, I don't take care of patients anymore. I had an injury that took that away from me 20 plus years ago. But when I'm able to connect a patient with a specialist who really, really, really has the hot hand, that means the world to me. For better or for worse, one of our friends who works with us at the restaurant, her husband had a terrible diagnosis, and being able to help guide him through this tragic diagnosis, but get him into the right hands, whatever chance he has is enhanced, right? And so do your homework.
I hear as you're talking, and as I'm thinking back to the conversation I had with my wife, who would love to talk to you as well sometime. I hear you have, as my wife would say, you found your mission in life. And there's a question here from Valerie that says, when did you find your passion for gynecology and obstetrics?
Obstetrics.
Thank you so much. How do you find yourself connected down the path to Maya? It seems like you've gone from like a mission or purpose to mission and purpose, and it's changed dramatically as events unfolded in your life, but that hasn't stopped you from continuing to find a new direction and make, like the song we heard from Maya, to make it great with where you are. You want to speak about that at all?
Well, yeah. Thanks for saying that. I do. One of my favorite books is Mindset, and the growth mindset is one where we try to do better every day. And 1% better every day, you're a completely different person in 3 months, right? And so I do try to do better every day. And I fell in love with obstetrics and gynecology when I was a third-year medical student, because number one, when I was a third-year medical student, I'm getting some feedback. Are you hearing that? Yeah, thank you. I went to medical school specifically to be a pediatrician, but my dad passed away at the end of my third year of medical school, and that was right around the time that I did OB. And walking into a room and meeting a couple And when you walk out of the room, that couple is a family. That's like the complete opposite of what was going on in my home life, where my dad was slowly dying. And so that the joy that was in that room was really attractive to me. And I'm very blessed that, I still have patients 20 years later that they still have my cell number, and they'll call me and say, hey, you always told me not to have a hysterectomy, but now my doctor's telling me, well, all right, you're 20 years older, trust your doctor, let's talk about it, right? But yeah, so I fell in love with it early on, and it was an incredibly gratifying way to practice. I didn't want to be around death and dying, and yes, I lost some patients, to bad ovarian cancers and things like that. But most of my work was happy, and the the mission that I'm seeing today, that came out of this involvement with a trial. I never saw that coming. And I'm still not, Scott, I'm still not exactly sure what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'll figure it out with the audience's help.
I wrote this down because I wanted to get it word for word for you. Not word for word, but my thoughts on that matter. Because I watched this morning again before I went live, I rewatched your 2 videos we posted on YouTube. And basically it boils down to, you want to continue the conversation. What happened here? It was wrong. It was wrong for what happened to the family. And although I think in the situation we've made it as right as they can now after the fact for the Kowalskis. Unfortunately, the damage is done. We can't undo those wrongs. But there's another family that tomorrow will walk into a hospital with another kid with a complex medical condition, where these same events or very similar events could play out. Yeah. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to have a conversation about that to see what we can fix there, and is there a possibility to take what's happened here and make that transformative for maybe the healthcare industry as a whole, maybe DCF? Is there any chance to do that?
That would be the answer to a prayer, right? I do think that, and thank you for saying that. In my conversation with Jack this morning, I said, what I've heard loud and clear is that there are really 2 parts to the audience that has connected with me already. There are members of the audience that I'm speaking to. There's a significant part of that audience, Scott, that I'm speaking for. And those are the patients who can't get heard, who have been dismissed, who have been accused. And, listen, I want to be very clear. I've not practiced medicine as a physician in 20 years. But that doesn't mean that I can't use my education, use my experience to help improve the lot for, certainly for patients, but it would be the answer to a prayer if some of the things that this community developed through our conversations actually rang a bell in Washington or in Chicago at the AMA or at the Joint Commission or what have you. And if we could affect change on a national, even international basis, that would be, I would be a very happy guy.
You mentioned that you've already seen in your audience, just in the brief interaction you've had so far since the trial, a couple things. I found in doing this, in starting this channel, that people need 2 things, and one of them is to be heard. Yeah. There are so many people that watching this trial, whether they're suffering with silent pain or visible pain, or just haven't found anyone that will hear them and listen and say to find out really what's going on. They want somebody to do that. We saw when we watched the verdict come in, as the cameras would only focus on the kids, Maya and Kyle. It was frustrating. But at the same time, the relief they felt the moment they broke down was not when we heard the award amount. Right. It was when the jury said, "Yes, we heard you. We heard you." And 100% agree. The relief that just flooded. I mean, they couldn't hold it in, and it was heartbreaking. Yeah. We were all in tears. But there are so many people in that same situation that have been, for however long it has been holding something in. And I think you're going to find as you make yourself available, that people want to share their stories and very personal stories, very, very unique stories. And it's hard to answer all of them, especially. But there's an underlying message underneath everybody that they're all asking for that same thing. They want to be heard. They want somebody to understand them.
There was a real sense of validation for Kyle and Maya and Jack. Because keep in mind, they filed this case in 2018, 5 years ago. They started working on this case a year before that. So 6 years is 40% of Maya's life. It's nearly 50% of Kyle's life have been after the loss of their mom, and really overshadowed by all that they've had to do to help the team that was trying to help them, right? The search for documents, and I don't think that the hospital was at all prepared for the level of documentation that Beata created. I remember saying to my wife when we were watching the documentary, how in the world do they have all these videos and all these notes and all these photographs and all these audio recordings? It was remarkable. I mean, if you were a filmmaker, I'm not sure that you could have collected more data points. It was remarkable to me. But listen, Beata was a good nurse. She knew how to document the case, and she did a remarkable job. And her gift from beyond was all that trail that, I don't know that any other patient and patient family would be able to deliver that kind of granular elements. And it's one of the things that makes this case so unique, was the story was laid out for us by Beata.
The family was in a perfect position for this battle. It was David versus Goliath. Okay. You don't walk in and take on a massive corporation like that and win. Those stories don't happen. But with this win, there are other families who have had a similar situations. We heard numbers between Kathy and Sally Smith. There are probably some more families out there that never had this moment, never had this day of vindication. Has this win paved the way a little bit for them to maybe get something right?
It should, but it requires leadership at the hospital level that's capable of self-reflection, right? And that was one of the things is, as I sat in on the depositions for Dr. Perno and Dr. Napolitano. I was sitting next to Greg when he was leading that deposition, and it was done virtually via Zoom. And I was stunned that neither one of them had ever heard of this case until the weeks before the deposition, and they were given the USA Today story, and that's all they knew. The fact that these two leaders, the chief of staff who became the VP of Medical Affairs or similar role while Maya was in the hospital, that's Dr. Perno. Dr. Napolitano is the long-serving chairman of the Department of Pediatrics. At the time of Maya's hospitalization, he had 15 divisions in critical care medicine, hospitalist medicine, emergency medicine. All of these divisions reported into his department. So he really had he was the leader for most of the physicians on staff. And the fact that neither one of them had ever heard of this, even after they learned about Beata's passing, was just stunning to me. Why was there never a question asked, let's assume that we did everything right. Could we have done anything better? And again, it goes back to that, that mindset of just incremental improvement. It was never shown. I think that smart hospitals are having conversations around the boardroom tables and the executive tables, with the CEO. Hey, is this the best? Do we have our best system in place? Should we be rethinking how we address not just child abuse allegations, because that's pretty unique, but really, how are we thinking about these outlier cases? And again, I apologize for rehashing an idea that I was talking about yesterday, but could you imagine if Johns Hopkins, with by Kathy Beatty's testimony, she said that she and Sally Smith had worked on 300 to 400 child abuse cases in her 15-year tenure. That's between 20 and 30 cases per year. And those cases are not in the hospital for a day or two. They tend to be there for a week or more, right? So that means that there was probably very few weeks where there wasn't a patient in the hospital who was on a DCF, or Department of Children and Families, hold. Could you imagine if back in 2016 and 17, the hospital had a team, a committee that met once a week and just reviewed, where are we with this Kowalski kid up on 7, or this Scott kid on 4. Imagine if they had that conversation and they brought in not just the people on the team, but a fresh set of eyes, particularly someone who's not got a dog in the hunt, particularly somebody who is not financially incentivized to have all these patients, particularly if they had somebody that hadn't already staked an opinion and wanted to defend that position. What if they had a board member who was a mom or a dad, or a banker, completely uncommitted to any particular fiefdom within the hospital? I would bet that we would not be having this conversation, because this case didn't end up that way.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple times in there, you talked about Sally Smith and all those cases. You talked about the financial incentives. With your access to all the records, did you chase that rabbit a little bit to see where that money went, follow the money trail for why there were so many kids in that county, more than 3 times more than the
3x.
counties?
Yeah.
Why were there so many cases that seem to be involving some of the same people?
Yeah, I did not lead that chase, because that was a chase that Greg and Nick had already been working on with the Morgan sisters. And listen, kind of writ large, I think it's very clear that the incentives are not properly aligned. And I would welcome the opportunity to work with Governor DeSantis's team to reevaluate, are we doing this the right way? Let me be very, very clear, Scott. The overwhelming majority of nurses, doctors, physical therapists, everybody who works in the hospital, the overwhelming majority wake up in the morning and they want to do their absolute best that day. I do not think that doctors are evil, nurses are nefarious. I believe that there are always outliers in every organization. And, it's less than 5%. It's way less than 5%. But there's got to be guardrails to identify that 5% who believe that maybe the rules don't apply to me the way that they apply to everybody else. I do think that I hope that we have made the case that the system needs to be looked at. And it would be a privilege to be a part of that review process and make a change, because as you've identified, there are so many patients and so many families that have already been blown up by false accusations. And there are some today who are in the system. And the only way out, Scott, is to capitulate and say, you know what, you're right. I'm wrong. I did it. I'm sorry. Please give me my child back. And that's a choice that Beata and Jack were unwilling to make by acknowledging, at least going through the motion of acknowledging that this was a psychiatric issue. they were people of integrity as well. And, I do think that the system needs a good, hard look.
Yeah. So I realize we're approaching an hour. I want to be very respectful of your time. I appreciate.
I've
you
actually
being
got
here.
about 15 extra minutes if you'd
Okay.
like to go over
All
a
right.
little bit. Yeah.
Just a tiny bit. I was going to ask what now for you. I mean, we know you've got a YouTube channel. We can't wait. We can't wait for content. If there's anything I can do on the tech side to help you out there, I'd be happy to help.
There's no way I could learn to master the board that you have in front of you. Oh my God.
It's just a bunch of
You used to
blinking
do
lights.
that for a living, didn't you?
I went to school for it.
Oh, okay.
I've done some I've done some television broadcast stuff, but
yeah, I struggle to figure out how to work this thing.
That's everything you need right there. It's got all the same stuff I've got here.
But your colored buttons look nicer.
Are you looking at a book? Are you looking at a speaking tour? Are you looking at being a public speaker, a motivational speaker, political aspirations? Are you open to where this might lead? Because you really are, I think, in a key position where you're a voice that the people can listen to and understand about a very complex and difficult issue, and you're also in a position where it's got a lot of attention, where it has the possibility to do a lot of good.
Yeah, short answer is no to most of what you said above, but the key question that you asked is, am I open to it? And yes, I always tell my kids, you never know where opportunity is going to show up. I never imagined that I would have this platform, but I'm astute enough, Scott, to recognize that I do have a platform that, that the audience has created for people like you and me. And I do recognize that I have an opportunity to make a contribution to a lot of people's lives. The challenge for me, candidly, is I don't know how best to do that. And, with every day, I get a little bit more focus on it. The only thing that I have decided is members of my audience will be referred to as advocates, because to me, that capital A, advocate, is one of the most valuable words in healthcare. Because as the nuclear family has dissipated from the way that my grandparents lived, we've really lost that family role of advocating, and we really sometimes need strangers to be advocates for us. I hope that I can find my purpose and find my voice. As I said before, it's been heartwarming. It's been such a source of joy for me to know that I'm not only speaking to people, but speaking for many people. And I am confident that I will remain open-eyed and open-minded to opportunities. Hopefully I will find a highly effective opportunity to come out of this. No books. I do like to write, but I don't have the discipline to write a book. But I do hope that I can find my voice to help others find theirs.
Maybe a podcast, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That's an option. Well, we are super excited. There's a million questions. So many of them expressing their thanks. I skipped this one right here. Ask about his okay comment. It was brilliant.
My wife hates when I do that. She feels it's so highly dismissive, but it's something that I say when I'm not going to argue with you, but let's move on, right? And so it was the best I could come up with on short notice. But thank you now I can tell my wife that somebody else appreciates it besides me.
It was wonderful. Let me just say we're so excited. We have linked both your Twitter and your YouTube pages. If there's anything I can do, when I don't know much, but I do a little bit tech wise. If you ever have any troubles that way, you've got my number. I'm available anytime you need. We're super excited. If there's something coming up where we could be of assistance, we'd love to help with that as well. So
thanks, Scott. You've been incredibly generous since we connected over the weekend, and I sincerely appreciate your support, your encouragement. Thank you.
Well, thank you as well. I apologize. I cringe. I'm not going to go back and watch because I say things without thinking, and I probably said some things that you could probably reach out and slap me for about right now. But
None
so I'll apologize after the fact. But Dr. Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate what you've become for us as a community and what you did for the Kowalski family as well.
Thank you. But please,
everybody.
Scott, take care of yourself. Get some electrolyte replacement. Take some rest.
Send that prescription over. I'll go.
You know, Scott. One of the things that I always preached to my teams was take care of yourself, so that you can take care of others. Yeah. Right. But you've got to take care of yourself first. So please, this community cannot afford to have you on the sidelines.
Okay. You hear that? I get the rest of the day off. The doctor's orders. That's what I hear.
I will write that prescription anytime for you, sir.
Dr. Joe, thank you very much. I hope we can talk again soon.
I would enjoy that. Thank you so much. And thanks to your audience.
Thank you. We'll see you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Amazing man. I apologize. There's a lot of questions, a ton of questions. I did not want to impose on his time that way, but let me share some of these. He probably will be able to watch this after the fact, and I will encourage you also, like Rob did, that to reach out to Dr. Joe on his channel on YouTube, to subscribe first of all, and he's going to be setting up a community page. And some of these questions that you guys bring up might be great for him to get an idea which direction you would like him to go with his content, with his answers. So I'm going to read those here and play them so you can see what those questions are. Let's see. So we have, how does one find a concierge physician? He mentions that he has a concierge physician. They're more expensive than normal one, but you can Google that de novo and find concierge physicians in your area. I believe that's actually the name they go under. If Dr. Joe's kids were 11 and 9 today, would he take them to J-Hatch knowing what he knows now? What can we do better to educate the medical community about CRPS, ketamine, and stop the inordinate amount of misinformation? My first time in chat with you. I thank you for everything. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. Member for 4 months. I appreciate that. Who has oversight of DCF for Florida? Is this something we could write to our legislatures about to stop privatization? Anything that is a government entity, yes, you can write to your legislature about, because if there is a government agency that manages it, there's a law that it operates under. So if there's any, and that applies to any state, whether it's, fish and game, you name it. If you have a problem with the law, if you don't like the way something operates, yes, you can write to your legislatures. They have the power to change law, and that's what changes what the agencies do. So I highly recommend that. Have legacy media outlets invited you to interview on broadcast or print media? Thank you. I've seen he's been on some local news channels previously. I'm not sure if it's after the trial or not, but I love that he's here on social media with us. Seashell, how do you feel when you heard the verdict, and have you talked to the family since? I think he answered that question. That's why I didn't click on this one, Seashell. I apologize. He's just barely talked to Jack this morning. Thank you for sharing the story about your mom as well. Recover Addict, does Dr. C think this trial will impact healthcare not only in the USA but in other countries? Yes, we looked at that one. What can we do to get insurance to pay for ketamine infusions for those who desperately need them? I'm not sure how they can really say it's experimental anymore. That's a tough one. A lot of times changing industry has to be done when you vote with your dollars. And in the insurance industry, it's a difficult one to shop in. So unless you're outright just buying your own insurance, which is very expensive, oftentimes you're sort of limited to what your employer provides. But that would be a difficult one. Obviously, there is some legislation that might also play in that area. Let's see. Did we click on that one? This one. What else do we have? Okay, we've got Amy, member for 8 months. Thank you very much, Amy. Tower Hill Girl, love being here with my second family. Also member for 8 months. Member for 9 months. Wallflower just jumped on. Hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling better. I was, but now, after the doctor gave me a note, I'm starting to feel sick again. So let's see. Dr. Goodhair, thank you for being you and truly amazing and very passionate person. Love you for all you do. Kidda, thank you for sending the well wishes that way. speaking for all of us there. Dr. Joe, where did you learn your de-escalation skills? Your ability to keep calm and direct during testimony is impressive. Emily, I cannot stress you. Hopefully it came across very well on the video. Dr. Joe is absolutely an amazing communicator. Just absolutely incredible. His skill and ability to listen, which is like 80% of communication. His ability to listen is off the chart, and I think that's what you're seeing. Is he? In most people, when we're talking back and forth, I say something, and then you start talking, and while you're talking, I'm thinking, and here's what I'm going to say next. And Dr. Joe is not like that. He's truly absorbing everything you said, and you saw that when he was on the stand. He'd absorb the question and understand what was being asked, and then phrase his answer, and it was incredible. It's a skill that he's obviously tuned throughout his life. Let's see. Tara says this was part 2. It was a trap. I hope this ends the entirety of the too cozy relationship between hospitals and CPS with your own medical issue. Did this motivate you to help? Rest in peace, Beata. Sorry, I broke those two up, Tara. I do apologize. Let's see. Trophy Wife said, good morning. Just watched Law and Lumber interview. I found during Dr. Corcoran testimony how kind he spoke intelligently, but without condescension. Yes, he wasn't speaking down to anyone. And he had every opportunity to fire back and play dirty and with the snark and the spite that was being, that was headed his direction. And his response made him even more believable as a witness. The authenticity just shone through. It was amazing. Great point there. Misty Beard, Greg had me worried about at the beginning. He seemed so scatterbrained, but in reality, he's an absolute genius. I was fooled at the beginning as well, Misty Beard. I was also fooled, but he clearly proved that he knew exactly what he was doing at every moment. Looking back, do you still feel like offering to take someone outside and settle it isn't or wasn't abusive? Hallie, I think this was his answer to this question, saying that probably doesn't raise to abuse. The right answer for a paid expert witness would be that's clearly abuse. That's what a paid witness would say. But the fact that he came up here and spoke on his own and said, no, you don't have anything there. That really it's wrong. But that wouldn't meet the terms of abuse. When I first did that, I'll have to go back and watch. But when I first did that, I'm like, no, you had an opportunity there. You could have just said yes, but no, he was being true. He's like, technically, that's not. That is, that's close, but it's not. So I think that as well added to his authenticity. Looking back, do you still feel? Oh, we just got that one. Sorry about that. Got it again. Let's see. Jen says quality check. Joint Commission is how you can check hospital ratings. Thank you for that for Jen for the insight on how you can look at hospital ratings. Thank you for the leapfrog info, Dr. C. Another way. We had a super sticker come in from Gigi. I can't see it on this application. I wish they would let me see what it was, but thank you, Gigi. Fly the Coop says, I used to be a traveling nurse. You could tell what the culture of the hospital was the moment you walked into the hospital. Dr. Joe, you are so amazing. I know you heard that before, but you really are. Thank you. Thank you for that on his behalf. Mandy Strong says, question for Dr. Joe. When you request AMA discharge for your child, wouldn't that cancel out the informed consent you signed in the ER? That's like a legal question. He got into that a little bit with Rob last night about that informed consent and just those few lines where the hospital, one person particularly felt that that allows the hospital to do anything they want. And I don't think it's that broad. I don't think it is that broad at all. Holly Mack says, if I was chairperson of a hospital board for years, and the board should be informed on issues like this, and yes, hospitals do know when they're having accreditation visits and prepare for them. Thanks, Dr. Joe. You are amazing. That just goes to show that the investigators, even if they just show up unannounced, there's a welcoming party when they get there, right? Tracy Collins, maybe not what they should have done, the parents, but what do you think you wish they knew? For parents that might find themselves in the same situation, what would be Sally Smith's direct report? This was a tough one because, the court system was involved, DCF, and that's a difficult one to run up the ladder on because the court can order all sorts of things. You were so sharp on the witness stand. You shined. He did amazing. My favorite witness. Dr. C, what's your opinion on med staff and social workers being able to refuse recordings during patient care and interactions? In what state? If you're in a state that has single party consent, and you are one party, obviously you have to be careful with record. I'm not going to give legal advice, but look up consent laws for single party recording. Some states might have a different rule than others. If Jay Hatch's reasoning for keeping Maya was Beata, oh, that was weird. We might have another bug situation. I saw something move, and it's not there now. All right. Why couldn't Jack stay? And furthermore, why wouldn't Kyle be separated as well? It doesn't add up. I'm not going to give Rob anything to go with on this. No, we're not going to mention it. If Jay Hatch's reasoning for keeping Maya, oh, we got that one. Sorry. Thank you very much, Tracy, for that. Southern Mom says, I've worked in healthcare IT security compliance for 23 years so far. Was there inappropriate access to patient records by CPS docs? What metrics might help identify anomalies in abuse reporting? Pop. I don't know how that bubble gets there. I have no idea. Whoever did that, I don't know how you did that. Was there inappropriate access to patient records by the CPS docs? It sounded to me like there was, like she crossed the line by accessing it too early. But the way that testimony came out in trial was, no, that's okay. So I don't know what the rules are on that one. A lot of the people in chat, when that came up, it was mentioned that that would be against the rules for them, but she was in a very unique situation. Misty Beard says, as a ped nurse, thank you for recognizing that. Thank you very much, Misty. We have amazing, amazing nurses out there. Not That Mickey says, hi, Dr. Joe. I lost my mom due to hospital and doctor negligence. Her case took 9 years here in South Africa. It took 9 years for them to admit guilt, and then the case was settled. I so resonate with the self-reflection. I now work in the medical legal field. We need more doctors like you. Not That Mickey, thank you very much for the generous super chat, and thank you for sharing that personal experience there. Crazy Cat Queen says, I'm a retired Army doc. I've been appalled at the direction of primary care, driven by reimbursements causing 1, short appointment times, 15 minutes, and 2, consults instead of in-house treatments. Thoughts? The short appointment times, I think he addressed previously, where he talked about getting a concierge doctor. It's obviously something that is more expensive to be able to afford, but it allows you to have more access to the doctor. I think he said he gets a dedicated hour when he shows up. Lawyer's Daughter gave a super chat. Thank you very much, Lawyer's Daughter. I think there was a super sticker on there. Thank you. Appreciate that. Momo says, do a welcome live stream and have the advocates vote on the logo for your channel. I can't wait to see his content when he starts putting that out on the channel, starts answering some of the questions that are coming his way. And if you'd like to be part of that, please subscribe to his channel and send him a message. Reach out to him on X, on the Twitter app, and talk to him, because he's going to be creating that here soon. Thank you for your excellent and thorough coverage. Thank you, Lawyer's Daughter. I appreciate that. Let's see, who has oversight of DCF? Oh, sorry, I clicked that one before. We've got that one. I scrolled the wrong direction. Close. I didn't realize where was I at? I need some water desperately. All right. My first time chat was URA. Thank you for everything, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. It's nice to see you flexing your interviewer skills, RA. Well done. Dusty Den, I'm learning slowly, but I have some great examples to work from. Debbie Blair, thank you, RA, for an awesome channel, great community. Love being here so much. Thank you. 7 months, Debbie. Appreciate that. Greeners gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Greeners. Also, Greeners gifted 10 memberships because 5 wasn't enough, apparently. Thank you, Greeners, for that as well. Here for the Truth says, I admire Dr. Joe. I hope that he stays humble and true to himself. Often so much praise and adulation can go to people's heads and skew their or our attitudes and perspectives. We need people like Dr. Joe. I think if anyone can do it, I think it would be him. Look at him. Look at what he said. He's rung true. He's had this amazing moment. I sort of compare him a lot to Samantha Lawrence in the trial. They both were doing something for the very first time. Their experience in court was brand new for them, and they had an amazing experience, a huge win, amazing testimony, super impactful. And as Dr. Joe said on Rob's stream, don't let this be your shining star. Don't peak in middle school. So Samantha Lawrence, you've got the world as your oyster. Go forward, do great things based on this. And I think Dr. Joe will as well. Last one here. Debbie Long says, member for 6 months. Love our family here. RA, how we've grown since I first joined. And you, RA, listen to the doctor and please take care of you. Thank you for all you do. All right. I will follow that advice. There's a lot more messages here. Go home and take care of yourself. Go take care of yourself. I am home. I will. You didn't say home on there, but I added that. Let's see. What's your thoughts on jurors number one's wife being in the courtroom watching the trial? It's great. It's okay. I think they were meticulously careful to make sure nothing inappropriate happened. That's my thoughts. Everything I've heard confirms that for me. Let's see. What interviews are in the works? There may be some more. If there are some more and the jurors would like to talk, those may be in the works, but that will have to be at the right time. Let's see. Amanda says, just watch the video of Maya's song again and bawling again. You did an amazing job and a wonderful tribute to Beata and the family. Well, they gave me great stuff to work with, so it made it very, very easy. Let's see. I think that is all. I was going to play music as an outro, but now I hear you can't hear it, so I don't know how I can do that. Let's see if I can. Let's see. Let me see what this one is. The wrong one. That's a very celebratory. Well, I have music, but I can't play it. I can hear it. It's in my head, so I don't know how to end the show if I don't have music. But I think I have to follow the doctor's orders because I'm feeling my throat again. I'm feeling the glow. I've got just a low-grade fever happening right now. I appreciate the doctor being patient with me as I'm not on my best today. I apologize to you guys as well as I've struggled a little bit here being sick, but we'll be on tomorrow. Yes, we will. We're looking. We might pick up another trial. I'll do some research while I'm resting. Okay, that's not really work, right? As long as I'm laying down. But we'll rest up and see if we can get you a trial here soon. Let's see. We are being cautious with our interviews for sure, but also I'm getting some great advice from some good friends in the LawTube world, specifically Rob. I value his opinion a ton. He understands the situation much better than I do, so we're doing that. All right. Let me see if I can play. If I did this, hold on one second. It's experiment time. 1 minute. Where's my video? Can you hear this music? I'm not hearing it. Are you hearing that music at all? Nope. No, I can't see it. A big old no. Okay. It's not doing any good. All right. You guys are going to have to learn to learn what it's like to have a cold stop at the end. A cold stop. Hard stop. All right. Let's see. Can we somehow show your montage video of Maya's somewhere, top 10 somewhere? If so, Kim, can we somehow get your montage video or Maya's top 10 some more? Kim, here's what I did. I did post the video, just the standalone video on my channel. You'll see in the comments there that I wanted to share that, but at the same time, since my channel is monetized, I put a note there. I'm going to be taking all the proceeds that come in from the ad revenue of that video, and we're donating it to the Ferocious Fighters group, which is a group that helps advocate for and support children with CRPS diagnosis. So that's what we're doing there. It's out there on the channel. I can't give you authority to post it other places because it's not mine to share that way. I was given permission to share it where it is, but that's as far as I can go with that one. Let's see. Anything else? Will you update the video with the verse that was missed? I won't. I did play the whole song today. I realized why I left it out, and it had to do with her voice covering part of the song that I needed to record, because I took part of the intro and part of the outro and merged them together into an interlude. I tried to put it back in last night, and there's no place I can put it in without just chopping the song down, and I would have to get rid of Beata's voice in the middle of the song, which I think is very important. Okay, there we go. All right, let's end it on that note. I wish I had some music. We're going to have to play just the other music, which is podcast music. That's what it is. We'll go out to the podcast music. Speaking of podcasts, we will be back tomorrow night. We'll be on, I think Thursdays is a good night for us. So Weather Watch and I will be back tomorrow night. A regular podcast. Nothing special this time. Like last time was amazing, but regular podcast will be back. Please do join us for that. I will tell you all thank you very much for being here. This is an amazing community to watch true crime with, and it's because of you. It would not be the same without you. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till I go live again tomorrow morning. Hopefully, all better and rested up after doctor's orders. It's gonna be good. So I promise to get some rest. But thank you all very much. We'll see you. Have a great one.